All right, we are one day after the women's precision fuel and hydration Ironman 70.3 World Championships, and I'm joined by the new world champion, Lucy Charles-Barclay. Thank you for joining us, Lucy. I guess first up, how are you feeling the day after?
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for having me. I'm definitely over the moon. I still can't quite believe that I managed to get the win yesterday, but yeah, it's definitely put to bed a lot of negative things that have happened over the last few weeks, or trying to get over the disappointment of Kona, and it feels like I can really put that behind me now.
I kind of want to, I was about to jump straight in and ask about the race, but then I feel like I need to ask about the week leading in, and then I feel like it's a few weeks. So I'm actually just going to rewind and let's start at Kona. You were having a phenomenal race. It's an amazing battle for us to watch between you and Taylor. When did you even know it was starting to go wrong?
I mean, there's a lot of things now when I think back that I'm like, that wasn't quite right. Like, as soon as I got onto the bike, I was just so thirsty and I could not get on top of that for the entire ride. And I didn't think too much of it because obviously it's a salty sea swim, so I was like, maybe it's that. But that was probably my first telltale sign that something wasn't quite right. And then probably around 11 miles into the run, I really just didn't feel right. I actually started to feel freezing cold. So I was like, this isn't a good sign. And then from there, it pretty much went south, I guess. And then, running in the energy lab. And obviously, as we all saw, my husband Reese making the very sensible decision to stop me, which obviously I'm very thankful for. Now I'm sat here with the world title, it feels a little bit better, but a very tough day in Kona, sort of going in such great shape. And I think the hardest thing is the what could have been, but you know what, we move on, it's sport, there's highs and lows, and that was just unfortunately a low on the Big Island.
And when Reece stopped you, did you try and fight him? Did you like say, no, I want to carry on? Did you think you were okay? Or
to be honest, I knew I was in trouble, so to see him there was like, okay, he's obviously here because he also thinks I'm in trouble, we need to stop. I know what I'm like. If he hadn't been there, I probably would have just continued until my body gave out and I was on the tarmac, and thankfully it didn't get to that point. But luckily he is very smart and he always has my best interest at heart, so he definitely probably saved me right then.
Oh, and any idea what it was, why you were thirsty, and what's been like, what have you done any testing since, obviously, to check that you're obviously now very healthy, but what was the fallout from it? What did you discover?
There's several things that we think might have happened. Post race we did blood tests, they all came back fine, so I pretty much was looking in good shape. Definitely, I think the hardest thing coming back from was just mentally the fatigue from that. It's obviously such a big build up into that race. It's the biggest race on the calendar and you put everything into the preparation for that, and then for it to not come together, I think actually that was worse than the physical toll, was the mental toll. So it was tough. We've consulted with my team and doctors, and hopefully we can right the wrongs and I can get it right next time.
And the first thing, no idea why that was?
We think potentially it could have been hyponatremia, so I actually had too much salt, and that could have been where the first was coming from. And then obviously I have electrolytes in my fluid, and the thing to do that you think is, right, I need to drink more, I need to have more salt, I need this, but actually I think that was the wrong thing. I just needed no salt. So lesson learned, something more to try, but I've never experienced that in training, so unfortunately, it happens on the biggest stage in that sport.
And a lot of people, which I personally have disagreed with, were saying, Kona, it's just too brutal, it's too hot, look what happened to, the two leaders and this amazing race. But I don't know, you have raced there way more than I have and experienced it. I don't feel like it was any significantly hotter or different that year to any other years. And what's your answer to people who are saying that?
Yeah, I mean, we all know Kona is brutal, but we prepare for it every single year, and I've never experienced that. That was like my 6th time racing there, and I've never experienced that. So I think that can just happen. I mean, potentially that could happen anywhere. If you make a mistake with your fueling and your nutrition, then things are going to go south on an Ironman. But we prepare for it, and unfortunately these things can happen.
And you've learned from it a lot.
One thing is, I got to a point in my career where I thought I didn't have many more lessons to learn, but clearly I was wrong. So
I think that's reassuring for us who've still got lots to learn, that even you have stuff to learn. And I know you talk about the mental toll from that, and your recovery sounds like physically you knew what you needed to do, but I know you've had a tough few weeks coming into this. you don't have to sort of go into that, but how have you sort of felt as your preparation mentally for this World Champs, and when did you make the call to come?
Yeah, I think when I got home, we had some family and life things happening. We sadly lost Reese's granddad just 2 weeks before this race. So he was kind of occupied with his family, and actually it kind of just put everything into perspective. Like, life is short. You've got to take the opportunities when you get them. You have to be grateful for your health, and I was obviously grateful to be healthy, and that was one of the reasons I thought, you know what, I'm going to come and do this race because I feel healthy enough. And I also know how proud Reese's granddad was of us, and I felt like it was honouring him to come and do this race. And when I finished the race in Kona, when I did win in 2023, the first person we went and saw was him, and we gave him my winning medal, and it was next to his chair, and he would sit and he would tell literally everyone about us. And so Reese is actually taking that medal home with him to hopefully go to the funeral. So yeah, I feel like I've really done him proud, and hopefully brought some positivity to the family in what's been a really challenging time.
Well, you most certainly have. That's a really touching story, and I bet that was with you on race day. So you mentioned before we were filming that you didn't have a huge amount of media commitments because you didn't commit to even coming here. And I'll put our hands up. Mark and I did the GTM preview show, and we were maybe not talking about you as much as normal because we didn't know if Lucy was coming, but we did say if you turned up on the start line, you'd be ready to come and win. When did you make the call to come?
Pretty much the weekend before the race, we decided I ticked a few boxes in training, and we were like, okay, I think you're definitely healthy enough to go and compete. How you're going to land or how the chips are going to land race day, we don't know, but we're going to go and give it a shot, I guess. And yeah, we're very glad that we did.
So I think it brings us nicely to race day. I felt like just sort of your social presence and just watching you from afar that you looked less out there as Lucy in a sense. Was that on purpose, or was it just because it was fairly last minute and you'd had a tough few weeks?
Yeah, I think because it was so last minute, we didn't bring my sister out, who usually does all my media, so we didn't have the photos to share, any content really to share. And I think also on the flip side of that, I didn't know really where I was at, so it was better to just sort of stay quiet and just see what happens on the day.
And now this is where I have to let you lead, because I didn't watch your race because I was many minutes, hours behind you. The swim, I saw you came out first, but just very quickly talk us through the swim, how it was out there. I know for the age groupers it was getting a bit wavy. I don't know if it was for you guys at the front.
Yeah, it was definitely fairly choppy in the swim. I didn't actually expect to get a gap in the swim because it's a wetsuit swim. It normally keeps the swimmers together. So quite early on, I realised I'd got a bit of a gap. So I was like, okay, this is definitely going to plan. I think the choppier the swim, it does actually suit me from my background in open water swimming, and that probably allowed me to get that small gap or a little bit of a cushion. Definitely, I feel like going into T1 with a bit of a gap allows you to do that a little bit stress-free, I guess. And then getting out onto the bike, obviously I know the calibre of athlete Taylor is, but I guess she was in a similar scenario to me. I didn't know kind of how her preparation had been. I assumed it probably had been difficult with what happened in Kona, so I wasn't sure how well she'd be firing, but she caught up to me on the bike, and I was like, okay, I feel like this is what I've got to do. It's my only way I could win this race is to go with Taylor. I know how strong she is. So
had you chatted to her before, or like I knew saw photos of you two together in Kona, but like had you shared your sort of experience out there or coming into this at all?
Yeah, I mean, we both spoke after the race and kind of shared our stories of what happened and what we think happened. And yeah, obviously we have the same coach as well, but we never know each other's training or what we're doing. We're very private on our preparations, so we kind of just probably both knew it had been difficult, but we were both happy that we'd kind of, I guess, get to give it another shot. And yeah, so out on the bike we hadn't spoken tactics or anything like that, but she's incredibly strong, and I was like, okay, let's just try and stay with Taylor. And it kind of worked that she was stronger on the uphills and I would hang on, and then on the downhills there was quite a lot of crosswinds, which I think I ride a lot in Lanzarote, so I'm quite comfortable in that condition. So I think it always, when it was more of a downhill with a crosswind, it allowed me to get back with Taylor and ride with her, and we swapped the lead a couple of times and actually made it a really fun bike ride. Sometimes it can be lonely, so it's nice to have someone else there. And yeah, then coming into T2 we were pretty much together, and then starting the run I felt strong, but Taylor was running incredibly strong as well. I think it took about 7 kilometres before I caught up to her, and then we ran together for a couple of kilometres before that band I think started to snap, and I was like, okay, I think this could be your moment. So I was like, okay, you've just got to go and not look back. And yeah, there was a lot of emotion on that finish line.
Oh, I mean, I've watched it several times. There's been so many posts about it because I think it's got so many people. We could just see what you've been through, and that came out on that finish line. It's incredible to watch. I want to just sort of, I loved your flow, so I don't want to break you, but I just want to go back into some of the, I guess a few questions on the swim to start with. Obviously, this year you have been joined by a few swimmers at the front, and some of them were on the start line, like Jess Learmonth, and maybe sometimes Taylor. Do you chat with the girls beforehand? Do you position yourself away from them, or do you want to work with them? What sort of goes on in the pro conversations, in the pro mind?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't normally talk tactics with other athletes. We kind of just see what happens, and I've raced obviously a lot with Jess this year. We've swam together, and we're both kind of those athletes that will talk during the race. So if we're together, we're like, okay, right, we could work together and try and get this lead. And in some races that's worked, in others it hasn't. So yeah, we kind of just see what happens. I think on the start line, Jess was actually very close to me. I didn't actually see Taylor, so I didn't know where she was going to be. But I guess, yeah, you never know how anyone's feeling either, or how their preparation's been. So sometimes it's best to just get in the race and then see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And the bike course, I saw you saying beforehand you were really excited about the bike. I myself and lots of age groupers were like, oh no. And you look like you're really relishing it. I don't know if that was for the media, or were you genuinely excited about this very unique course?
Yeah, I think the climb, or the main climb that everyone spoke about, reminded me a lot of Tabiesco, which is...
Have you still got the qualm there?
I still have the qualm on that. So for me, it was like familiar territory, and I wasn't going for a qualm attempt in the race, but it just felt like that environment where I really love to push on the bike. And yeah, I felt like Ironman did an amazing job with the course. Definitely worthy of a world championship, and it really tested us, and you could see that, I guess, from the gaps throughout the field, just how challenging that course was. But yeah, I found it really fun.
And what did you do? I saw Cube, you had a new colourway. I don't know how much was changed on your bike, and what did you actually opt for, gearing wise, and did you make anything lighter, or what was your just give me a quick synopsis on your bike?
Yeah, I decided to use the colourway that I had raced in T100 Spain, actually, because I was like, Spanish soil again, it got the wind there, so I was like, I'm just going to bring that bike, and I do love the pink, so it had good energy. I guess the only thing I really optimised was I decided to not go with the internal bladder in the frame, just to be a little bit lighter, so I felt like actually everything that was giving out on the course is the nutrition I use, so I didn't really need to carry much in that sense. I went with the Shimano 2-by rather than, I don't think many athletes did 1-by on this, but I ran a 54 chainring, so it wasn't too aggressive and good for the hills.
But you didn't spin out or anything?
No, it was okay. There were some points where I kind of had to do a burst of effort because I was spinning out, but I think it was the right choice with those climbs.
Nice. And then that brings us on to the run, and I think more of a, rather than don't have too many questions about actually what unfolded, because you got to the front and you bossed it, and that looks incredible. But I guess a deeper question, and I've obviously followed your progress, and from a swimming background, you are now, you got the fastest run yesterday, and you are still the fastest swimmer, and you still were a swimmer. That was your background into it. And I just love to know, your running has progressed so steadily, but so impressively over the years. What specifically do you put that down to? Have you done a lot of drill work, technique work? Is it purely getting the miles in? What has made you such a good runner coming from a swimming background?
Yeah, I think, over the years I've had my fair share of injuries, which I think is one link to having been a swimmer. It's kind of a low impact sport, and then secondly to that was the celiac diagnosis that I got last year, and really getting on top of that this year has allowed me just to be so consistent with running. I think it's the first year in my entire career where I haven't had to have a week off of running. So I'd say for runners my mileage is very, very low, and there's still hopefully scope for a lot of improvement, because I'm probably not running anything compared to runners, but just that consistency week on week and not doing anything crazy has just allowed me to steadily progress that, and hopefully I can continue to do that.
But running, getting the fastest run at T100 is quite, I don't know if you ever dreamed you could be up there. I'm sure you did, but it's quite cool to watch that you're just bossing it with the run as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think when I first came into triathlon as a novice, park run was something that I absolutely loved, and I still do.
Oh, me too. Yeah. I love it, and I love that you love it, and I see you're doing park run tourism, which is just the best thing.
I think just going and doing that hard 5k and that real speed, well, it's not real speed, it's not 1k, but just seeing how quick I can go
pushing
over that.
The limits,
I think so, and just then being able to do that, maybe not week on week, but throughout the year, and having a little check-in and then taking that up to the middle distance and hopefully the full Ironman as well. I find it really fun, and it definitely helps.
Have you got any Christmas park run plans? Because I've seen you've done some crazy ones in the past.
There is a plan. We have our local one is doing Christmas Day, so I think most of the family will do it, which is lovely.
Awesome.
And I don't know if we'll go for PBs on Christmas Day. We'll just
you're
keep chill, but you never know.
We'll come out, I bet. And I guess finally, is this the end of the season? Are you going back to T1, finishing up with T100s, or are you calling it a day there?
Yeah, I'll be heading to Qatar for the T100 Grand Final. When I came here, I hadn't actually booked my flight home because I wasn't sure if I'd go straight to Dubai. But
okay.
I feel like after the disappointment of Kona, we need to go and celebrate something. So
We do.
We'll go home, have a mini celebration from this, and then I'll do the final build to Qatar, and hopefully the grand final goes well.
Awesome. Well, good luck for your final race of the season. Enjoy Christmas and your park run. And can't wait to see what you've got next year, Lucy.
Thank you very much.